You're listening to the My Simplified Life podcast, and this is episode number 129. Welcome to the My Simplified Life podcast, a place where you will learn that your past and even your present don't define your future. Regardless of what stage of life you're in, I want you to feel inspired and encouraged to pursue your dreams, simplify your life, and start taking action today. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac, and I'm excited to share my stories and life lessons with you while taking you on my own journey. This is My Simplified Life. Hey friends, welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac. After 18 years in a corporate career, I find that I often reflect and compare on what I know now and what I've learned versus what I experienced in the corporate world. And it's vastly different. I think that for being an entrepreneur, we hear words like mindset, and we think they're very woo-woo if you come from the corporate world. Nobody ever sits down in a conference room or at a sales meeting and says, let's get into the mindset to sell. It's just not something that's talked about. Whereas in the online space, mindset is something that is discussed quite often, pretty much daily. You can see something that someone posts about having the right mindset, getting in the right mindset, how your mindset plays a role when it comes to selling, when it comes to doing your job right, when it comes to attracting the right clients, and so many other things. And I really have come to believe that that's true. I think that if we talked more about being in the right mindset in the corporate world, then we might actually see a difference in that arena, and it would be more comparable to what it's like to own your own business. So let's talk for a minute about how I've been utilizing my own mindset in my business. I've always been a very positive person. I always look at the bright side of things. I like change. I embrace it. And that's always been something that's a part of who I am. It was back when I was in the corporate world and we would acquire a new company and people would be upset or worried about, what would this mean for the rest of us? And I'd be the one out front saying, let's embrace this. Let's see what they do that we don't do. Let's see what offerings we now get to provide to our clients. Let's make this a good thing instead of looking at the negative. And I do that now as well. When you start your own business, it's often hard to really have that positive mindset, to know that clients will come to you, especially if, like myself, you start an entirely new industry, something that you didn't know for the past 20 years, where you don't even know the clients. You are in a completely new space, so it can be hard to get that positive mindset from the get-go. I can tell you that early on, I learned to listen to my gut. If there was a client that didn't align with my beliefs or was putting me through the ringer for whatever reason, and my stomach would literally get upset, then that was my gut actually telling me to move on. And in moving on, I would come at it with the attitude that this just wasn't right. And once I take away what's not right, then that leaves room and space for what is right to come in and replace it. And that's the attitude that I've had when it comes to clients, if they come and go, to opportunities that come and go. And to me, that's all part of the mindset. It's being positive about what may happen and to expect the good versus putting out into the universe the negative. You could say that this client isn't a good fit, but if I get rid of them, then there's not going to be another client. What's going to happen? I'm going to lose that income versus saying to yourself, it's better if I get rid of the stress that this individual is causing me, because then I can make room for all of the good clients that want to work with me, that are going to be positive in all that I do and all that they do. It's like the saying, when one door closes, another one opens. And I totally believe that, especially when it comes to clients. And I think one of the actual benefits that can happen is you can raise your prices on top of it. So you might not just get rid of stress, but you can also then welcome a new client at a better rate and make more in the end and be happier. Now, going with the mindset theme, pricing becomes an issue. And when you're in the corporate world, you don't get to set the prices. I never got to say, oh, well, I think that this jet fuel at this location is going to be sold for $5 a gallon. The only thing that I got to play with was a little bit of a margin, and we're talking pennies, literally. So that wasn't going in and saying, okay, here's what the operating costs of the business are. Here's what I want to make myself. So what is it that I need to charge my clients? Whereas today, that all falls on me. And that's a new stress, a new pressure. And at the same time, it's also something that's absolutely wonderful because I get to set all of those things. It's up to me and what I want to make of it. But oftentimes, I know for myself, to come into a brand new business, a brand new industry, brand new clients, I had no idea where my pricing should be. And in all honesty, when I started podcast pitching, I was charging clients $100 a month. And it makes me sad that I was working so hard for literally pennies. I worked my rear end off, and I was told early on by a business coach that I could probably maybe get $250 a month for a client. And at the time, I thought that was amazing. $250. Well, that's more than double what I'm charging now. Isn't that fantastic? But how many clients do I have to bring on in order to even pay my mortgage? Like, this was just an astronomical amount of work, amount of time, the number of clients that I'd have to bring on. And so I took that advice with a grain of salt, and I did increase my prices to $250. And then I slowly and continuously increased it from there. I realized that after talking to clients, after talking to other people who have hired other podcast pitching agencies and hearing what it is that they're getting out of that agency, how much value I provide. I recognize not just the effort and the work that I put in, but the one-on-one strategy. The fact that I'm creating media kits that are branded, I'm working on topics, I'm offering coaching on their storytelling, and I'm creating relationships with hosts that aren't just copy and paste. I use their name in an email, which sounds like it should be basic, and yet you should see the pitches I get. So I'm doing all of these really high-touch things in my business, and I wasn't charging the proper amount for it. And I feel like in order to charge the proper amount, it also shows what your worth is. Now, whether we go back to when I was charging $100 a month or now $2,500 a month, it all reflects on also my self-worth and the mindset that I have that I am worthy and the services that I provide are of value enough that someone will pay that amount of money. My mindset is that I can charge this much and I should charge this much because my services are worth that much. This goes even further when we talk about internally how much we want to make in our business. 6 figures is everything that's out there. You see it all over social media. I made 6 figures doing this. I want to make 6 figures. I'm making multiple 6 figures. But really it comes down to, what is it that you want to make? What is the number that you're comfortable with, that you strive for? And for me, reaching the first 6 figures was a big deal. I wanted to get there. I wanted to surpass whatever I had ever made in my corporate career, because to me, that meant that I was making it on my own. I didn't need to rely on an outside business. That was the mindset that I had. And then it became, well, if I can make 6 figures, let's make multiple 6 figures. And then talking to friends who make multiple 6 figures and then some, and them saying, no, you can make even more. And I know you can. And then when I started to open up my eyes and really my heart and my mind to say, yeah, I think I can do this, that's when it starts happening. And it's that mindset of positivity and putting it out into the world that really makes it happen. When you love what you do, and I truly love what I do, I have had 30 prospect calls in the last month, and every single one of them has said that it's obvious I love what I do. It comes across in my face, in my words, in the excitement that I have for what I do, for the people I work with, for the messages I get to spread. And I think that all plays a big part in the mindset that I now have when it comes to my business, when it comes to the people I get to work with, the people I want to work with, the money that I'm charging, the money that I'm making. It's all about that positivity. And I don't want it to sound like you have to be positive all the time, because let me tell you, I'm not positive all the time. I had a really crappy day yesterday. There were tears involved, and I was like, forget it. Like, I feel like I just took 10 steps backwards. And in reality, there were a couple steps backwards, but I had to pick myself up off the floor and say, forget it. Tomorrow's another day. It will be better because it can't be the same as it was yesterday. And I moved on from it. And that's what I mean about getting in that positive mindset. You're allowed to have bad days. You're allowed to be upset, pissed off, down in the dumps, feel that negative stuff that we all do, but you have to come back out of it. And you have to get in that mindset that you are doing what you're meant to do. You deserve the money that you are making, that people are paying you. And that is how you're going to propel forward. That's how I'm propelling myself forward. A big part is surrounding yourself by the people who believe in you, who can encourage you, who say, yes, go that extra step, and who you can celebrate your wins with. I am so very lucky that I have a group of female friends. They are all business owners, entrepreneurs who are cheering me on every single day. If I have a win, no matter how big or small, I email them. I have a group of friends, I have individual friends, and I let them know. I will send a text message, a Voxer, and say, I have to share this. This is just what happened. I just landed this new client. I just got to start this new book launch with an author. And it's sharing all of that and celebrating it, because so often we don't celebrate enough. We don't celebrate ourselves. I know that for a long time, I would land a new client and say, great, that's awesome. Celebrate 5 minutes, boom, it's over. And I would move on. I would get back to work. But we really need to cherish those moments, to live in them, to reflect on the fact that we have worked so hard to get to this point and that we deserve to celebrate it. You don't have to celebrate with a bottle of champagne, but, congratulate yourself. You're allowed to have self-talk. And I know that sounds so funny, but to say, you know what, you've done a really great job. Congratulations. Look at where you've gone in such a short amount of time, or even, in a long amount of time, because none of this happens overnight. I've been working at this for 4 years. I didn't wake up one morning and say, I'm going to launch a business and I'm going to make 6 figures and that's what it's going to be. And I'm going to write a book on what I do. Bada bing, bada boom, it's done. No, it's taken 4 years. And to be honest with you, it doesn't seem like it's taken 4 years. I see now that all of the work I've put into it, all of the time and the effort and the amount of commitment I put into what I do, I'm now reaping the benefits. I'm now successful in what I do. And I can say that. But like I said, this doesn't happen overnight. And I was recently introduced to a book that's new to me, but it's been out there for a while, called The Big Leap. And as an entrepreneur, I know that especially for myself, we get stuck in this place where we think the sky is going to fall tomorrow. I know that even though I have clients that I work with right now, that I will be working with, down the road, I think that, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next month? Am I going to have any clients? And that's when reality sinks in and I have to have some self-talk of, hey, Michelle, you have contracts in place through the end of the year and then some. You will never be making $0 at any point during this year. And it's crushing that negative mindset of, oh no, I'm going to be fine. I will be fine. And this is why. And it takes time. It's taken me 4 years and I still have some times where I go, oh, is the sky going to fall tomorrow? Nope, it's not. And the difference is that I can more quickly realize that the sky is not falling tomorrow than I could years ago. So all of this is how a positive mindset works in business. And it's not always going to be positive, trust me. There will be negative, and that's okay too. But remind yourself that you're doing a great job. Tomorrow, the sky will not fall. You will continue to have clients. Surround yourself by people who will lift you up and remind you as well. And I promise you that once you have that positive mindset, all of the good things are going to come. All of the income is going to come. All of the clients are going to come. And you're going to feel so, so good. So let this be a reminder to have your bad days, but get over them and lift yourself up because you're kicking ass. You're doing an awesome job. And it's time that you celebrate every single one of those wins. I'm celebrating you. I want everyone to celebrate each other. So let's go out this week and just have that positive mindset and think happy, good thoughts of all of the success that we're all about to reap.